What up, everybody? Rarity here, and today I'm going to do a video that's a little bit different than my past videos. It's going to be a live video talking about TBC leaks. And the reason why I wanted to do this is just because I plan on it being a short video and I just want to get that information out. Last time I did this, it was for the drums change, and it still took me a little while to edit it, and I just thought that this rash format would be a little bit more fun to do. So without further ado, let's take a look and see what's going on. So as you can see, I have Wowhead pulled up, obviously. So there has been an update to some people's Battle.net launcher showing a release date for the Burning Crusade Classic. And if we take a closer look at some of these images, we can see new expansion on June 1st. New expansion's kind of funny. New expansion on June 1st, return to Outland in World of Warcraft Burning Crusade Classic. So this is kind of an interesting tidbit of information. It does land on a Tuesday, which, as we all know, is a time frame where gaming companies like to release games. They like to release on Tuesday nights, Monday nights at midnight Eastern time, or Friday nights. A lot of times we see Tuesday launches. It seems to be a good time frame for companies to, from a corporate standpoint, you gear up on your Monday and you launch Monday night, and then you have Tuesday through Friday or typical workday hours for your team to go through and work on changes and fixes and patches and all sorts of jazz like that. So I think that that's why that has become a norm, but I mean, a little off topic. Some weird points is that June 1st is not that far away. We're talking 4 weeks. 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks exactly. And that does not give much time before the release. And I think typically in the past, they have given us more of a warning before they go out and do this sort of announcement for a release and expansion. But I just want to go through and break down a little bit more the chunks and bits of information that we know to see what do we think. Like, is this actually a potential release date? Could this be the pre-patch date? Well, I think we'll have to break it down a little bit more to fully understand what's going on here. There's a couple other images here. This one shows a little bit more of someone's launcher. Same information though, and same with this one. Just slightly different framed, all the same information though. So if we take a look, it says that this is going to be a June 1st release, and I have a hard time believing that that would be a release date this close to that actual time frame. So like a lot of people have talked about May 18th being a good pre-patch date. I don't have any specific links to like Reddit threads and people's conversations with, you know, a friend of a friend, someone who works at Blizzard, like that typical situation. But it's been said through a couple different people. I've heard from a couple different channels that we can kind of expect May 18th to be the pre-patch date, and it seems to be a pretty good date. If we had a month to 6 weeks for that, then that would put that beginning of August as the release date, end of June for this expansion. And taking that into account, would we have enough time? Is 2 weeks if they release the pre-patch on the 18th, and then we come through and we have the full release of the game on the 1st of June? Would that be enough time for pre-patch? I don't think so. Let's see how long the original pre-patch was. Ooh, if I can type. So the Burning Crusade was released on January 16th. And let's see, what was the World of Warcraft patch notes? We'll just pull those up. That will give us some information on, I apologize. Let's see, where's like the fandom? Do I have to really type in fandom? All right, so we're looking at, if I can scroll down far enough. Whoop. Okay. Burning Crusade. So we've got, I believe pre-patch was 2.0.1. Let's take a look. Honor system revamp. It's a content patch. It looks like this is indeed the pre-patch date. Yeah, you're looking at some pretty common. All right. So if that came out on December 5th of 2006, and then we looked at a release of January 16th, 2007, pull up our handy dandy 2007. I've never actually done this with with this calendar. All right, so if we go back a month, so December 5th, right? Yep. So we're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks. 6 weeks seems pretty reasonable, and that's kind of the amount of time that I have expected there to be for the pre-patch coming up. If people were talking May 18th and then a full release at the end of June, early August, then that's kind of that 6 week time frame. I wouldn't be surprised to see them only do a 4 week pre-patch, but with all the stuff that they've kind of pushed people towards of leveling up your players to, I mean, your characters to get to level 60 before pre-patch, I mean, before the official release, especially the fact that they've given the ability for people to play Blood Elves and Draenei before or during the pre-patch, and I think that they're going to want to give people a little bit more time to get ready and get prepared, especially I don't want to give Blizzard any ideas, but if you give people some more time and you build up a little bit more hype, then more boosts will be sold. So I think they have to play with that perfect time frame of, you don't want it to go on too long, but you don't want it to be too short. Like, I think that there's a special number in there, and I think it's between 4 to 6 weeks. So if we take into account this June 1st expansion release leak, and we look at that in terms of the potential pre-patch that we've talked about, and the fact that beta hasn't tested some of the later tiers, which they might not. They didn't test some of the later tiers for classic. I mean, they didn't test like anything really later end game, but that, I mean, up until the phases that they were released. So we could see them release it without testing those later tiers, and I think that's why May 18th was such a good indicator of a time frame. But even if they were to, for some reason, release the pre-patch tomorrow on the 4th without any indication, then that would still only be 4 weeks. Like, I don't see it happening. I really don't. Yeah, I just don't think that this is long enough to be a TBC release date. I mean, as much as I wish it was, I don't think that that's enough time for pre-patch announcement. I think that this might have been an original placeholder and someone accidentally pushed it live, and that's why we saw it removed shortly afterwards. I think that this might have been a really good initial idea for them, but I mean, I don't know how much of their team between the classic team and their Shadowlands development team is overlapped, where people are working on both projects. If there are people working on both projects, then I could see the 9.1 Shadowlands delay and all of the the craziness that's going on behind that, also impacting the delay, potential delay in TBC, as I think that is somewhat sort of just I don't know. It's hard for them to juggle. I think that they have two different teams, but I mean I don't know for sure. But yeah, so I think May 18th for pre-patch date is a pretty good idea, and that will still give them enough time to test a few more things before making an announcement for a pre-patch. I just don't see a pre-patch coming tomorrow or next week, and which it kind of would have to in order for the 1st of June to be a release date. But we could flip this on its head. We could say, hey, June 1st is the pre-patch date, and that's when we would be able to jump in, and then we'd have 4 to 6 weeks from then to then therefore go and play the official release, which would put the official release close to the 29th, maybe pushing it back for a 6-week to the 13th, which that somewhat goes in line with our original classic release date. And that was, if I'm not mistaken, the 25th to the 27th. I am horrible with dates, but it was somewhere in that later August time frame. I apologize. I completely forgot about July there. So I don't know. I honestly don't see this being an official release date, and the wording, the fact that it says new expansion on June 1st, return to Outland in World of Warcraft Burning Crusade Classic. Since it says Outland, I don't see it being a pre-patch. I unfortunately I don't see that being a thing. I think that the wording would be much different. It wouldn't be saying new expansion. It wouldn't be saying return to Outland if it was pre-patch. In my book, I just don't see that being the case here. Yeah, so I think that they've run into a couple snags. They planned on having that be their release date. This might have been months and months ago that they planned to hit that June 1st release date, and then it might have just been a placeholder in their framework, and for some reasons it accidentally got leaked. So yeah, that's it. I just wanted to do a little bit more of a different kind of approach to this information and just talk about it a little bit instead of going through and editing a bunch, and just be a little bit more rash. Maybe someone had the chance to come in and give me some additional insight that they had, or come and hang out and discover something for themselves. So I appreciate whoever came and stopped by, and I will see you guys in a future video.